What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of lukegtv, and I'm your host, Luke G. If you guys are new, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good stuff. Hit that bell so you get all the notifications. And you guys, I'm glad to be back. Today we're gonna do a video about treatment centers, and boy, have I been to a lot of them. Man, if I really sat down and counted every single treatment center, including outpatient, inpatient, halfway house, if we really want to consider every single step of the way, I've probably been to like over 30 facilities. But to me, when you go to treatment, I kind of just count like you go to inpatient, then you go to IOP, then you go to sober living. I kind of count that as just one stint. So if we're going to talk like that, it's probably more around like the 20 to maybe 20, 18 to 22 range. So despite that, I've been to a lot of rehabs. And in this video, we're going to touch on the good, the bad, how I've messed up, how I think the treatment centers have messed up, and what a good mindset you should have, or rather, maybe making a better mindset for yourself going in, what to expect, all that good stuff. So I'll just start off basically with inpatient treatment. So let's say you're an addict and you need to get into inpatient treatment. I mean, it differs from state to state, but if you're on state insurance, if you have your own health plan, there's two very different things. Because if you're on your own private insurance, for instance, if you're 25 years or younger and you're still on your parents' insurance and they have like PPO, good insurance like Blue Cross, Blue Shield, stuff like that, you can get into some really good treatment centers. You can go to California, Florida, Vegas. You can go all around the country and go to really nice rehab centers. However, I have gone to rehab, I've gone to private rehab centers, and just because they're private doesn't always mean they're nice. The place I went to down in Florida, it was a nice facility, but the groups were just chaotic. It was girls and guys mixed together. Everyone there was in their early 20s. I remember I was like 25 going on 26. So I was kind of like the OG of the squad, and like, I was still going through withdrawals when I was at this treatment center because I actually had a substantial habit. And a lot of people there, they were like, it was like their first time using, and this was still during the era. This was like right when it started making that switch from heroin to fentanyl. However, Florida, there never was a big heroin presence in Florida just because of the geography, the smuggling routes. Florida has never been a big spot for dope. So you got to figure out where you want to go. You want to go to private, you want to go to a state-run facility. Here in Minnesota, we have hundreds and hundreds of very nice state facilities. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to get an assessment. You go, find out where they do assessments, Google it online or something like that. And they're gonna ask you a bunch of questions. They're gonna ask you how much you used, how long you've been using, what type of drugs, are you a polysubstance user, meaning do you use multiple substances? Are you an IV user? Your health history, et cetera, et cetera. And putting all those things together, they use all that information and they try to find the best place for you. In Minnesota, because we have so many treatment centers and the state will pay for you to go to pretty much any of them besides Hazelton. Hazelton is like, the top dog in Minnesota. You're gonna wanna ask people around. You're gonna wanna ask other people like, hey, what's a good treatment center? And like, you gotta ask them what you're looking for. Like, are you looking for a place that has a nice gym? Are you looking for a place where it's not too crazy of a player pool? As far I know it's kind of a weird word to say, but or the populace, I should say, of the treatment. Do you want like a super crazy off the wall treatment populace, or do you want like kind of the more serious people who are there to get clean? I mean, I would hope it would be the latter if you're trying to get clean, because yeah, it's just a waste of time if you're going to treatment and you're trying to mess around. And it's crazy actually, like as the years have gone on, like I have seen more and more, like there's less and less serious people, and like everywhere you go seems to be chaotic nowadays. So it's like a lot of the treatments I've been to like in the last couple of years have made me actually worse. But anyways, so you get done with this waiting process, and you know, it can take anywhere from 2 days. I've seen it happen. Actually, no, I take that back. I've seen it happen as quickly as the next day. I've seen it take 2 weeks. I've seen it take a week. I've seen it take a month. I've seen it take a month and a half. Usually it's not going to take more than a month, but I have seen it take that long for very popular treatments. So basically, you're going to get ready to go to treatment, okay? Some of these places will pick you up. Sometimes you need to get a ride there. You know, I mean, I'm sure if worse comes to worse, they will find a way to come get you. But at least back in the day, it seemed like you had to get your own ride. But you know, the last couple of years of me going to rehabs, a lot of them would come pick you up. So you get to rehab, they search through all your stuff, obviously. Some of them do like a metal detecting one to see if you're trying to sneak a cell phone in, see if you're trying to, you know, sneak this or that, IVs, you know, zooms, whams. You know the point. They're not trying to have you bring a bunch of crap in there. And so you get through that process. They tell you who your counselor is going to be. And then typically, I mean, you get to the treatment, it's usually going to be around noon, 1, 2 o'clock. And sometimes they'll say, hey, you don't got to go to groups for the rest of the day. Or sometimes they on that ass. They want you in group stat. They want that money. But it really just depends. And that's kind of where you start to see the tone of the treatment, is like how demanding they are in certain aspects. Because certain places, like they want to tell you what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and they want to try to micromanage every little part of your life. Some places are more chill, and they're kind of just like, hey, like we're going to give you the tools you need to get clean, but we're not going to sit and micromanage every aspect of your life. And I tend to like those type of treatments better. I tend to like the treatments where they have a gym, they have, you know, good, actual, meaningful groups. Because some of these groups, you guys, are literally like packets from 1989 about how to cure addiction and stuff like that. And like if you're at a treatment center where they're constantly reading packets off, it's a trash ass treatment center. But you know what? Sometimes that's your only option, and the best thing to do is stay positive in those situations. And it can be really hard. And so if you're and I'll put this out there. If you're in a treatment center and people are messing around, you know, the groups suck, stuff like that, you got to concentrate on the things you can control. You know, like start working out, getting into shape, do something positive. There's always something you can do. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, I was at the worst treatment center in the world. This was in Wilmer, Minnesota, like bum F nowhere. And literally like the country. And when I got there, I just so happened to meet a friend. He got me into intermittent fasting. He got me into working out every day. And by the end of my 45 days there, I was cut up. I was, you know, doing 300, 400 push-ups a day. I was stretching. I was doing cold showers, all that shit, you know? So sometimes it doesn't even matter the treatment you go to. It matters your mindset you got going in. So just try to control the things you can. So you're going to go through this treatment. You're going to meet your counselor. Your counselor is the person that, you know, kind of, they meet up with you every week. You do a one-on-one weekly with your counselor, and you're going to update him or her on like how you're doing mentally, like maybe some stuff on your past. And typically they're going to give you treatment assignments to do, which you then present in your small group. Your small group is typically you go there first thing in the morning. Sometimes it's different, but that's like your majority group. You go there like, let's say 5 times a week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. through 10:30 p.m. or 8:30 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. And basically that's where you spill your beans, you spill your guts, you tell people the real raw, uncut stuff going on in your life. You do homework assignments, you critique others. And I don't mean critique in like you're like bashing their assignments. Basically, like, you say what you liked, what you didn't like, et cetera, et cetera. And other people present their assignments, you present your assignments. And it's kind of a place where you can also process your emotions as you're going through the treatment process. Now, another thing that your counselor does is she helps you get on to your next phase of development, which is typically IOP, intensive outpatient. Now, IOP is going to look different for someone who is going back home to their spouse or someone who wants to go to a sober living. Now, if you're going back with your spouse, you're not going to change your living situation. You're just going back home, except you're going to go to outpatient. And outpatient usually consists of, you going to like a group. You're not in a facility anymore. You're living at home. And it's usually anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours a day, and anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. And so what else I've seen too with these IOPs is, like, let's say you don't have a place to go and you want to go to a sober living. Like here in Minneapolis, we have a place called New Way. It's probably the biggest IOP in the state. In fact, I know it's the biggest IOP in the state. But basically what they do is like they pay your rent for a sober living, which is $550 a month. They pay that entire $550 just as long as you go to their outpatient groups, which are 5 days a week. And I believe it's like 3 or 4 hours a day. It's like 4 hours a day. It's like 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. So yeah, it's about 3.5 hours a day. But the groups are 45 minutes and you get a 15-minute smoke break between every group. So really it's not that long. But in these IOPs, some of them co-ed, most of them are co-ed. So you're meeting women, you're meeting men, you're meeting people to go to meetings with, you're hanging out with people from your sober house. And this is the stage of your recovery where you're going to a lot of meetings, you're looking for a job, you're kind of like on step 1 of building yourself up from ground zero. You're like I said, you're networking. This is your networking stage, and you really need to take advantage of this time, because I'm going to tell you this, once you start working and your life is in motion, like, you're not going to have as much time to network. So, and it's tough to network when you're in that position, because, you don't have a job, you don't have a lot going for you. So, and for me, it's always made me feel like I'm like, like, especially if you don't have a car, you kind of feel like the beggar, like, oh, come on, can I hang out with you guys? Da 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 da. Like, I'm 30 years old. Like, can I hang out? Like, no one wants to be that guy. But you know what? In the recovery community, you just got to do it. You gotta immerse yourself. You got to get yourself uncomfortable. You got to meet new people. You got to do all that. Okay. And that's what you really want to focus on in this IOP stage, you guys. So for me personally, you guys, I've been through some good treatments. I've been through some bad treatments. I've been to places where it's like every single group is just out of a packet of a book. People are using left and right. And typically those treatment centers are the ones that are in the city. Like, so I would suggest, and this could, I don't know, this could be different from state to state, but I assume it would be somewhat the same. I would try to get out of your metropolitan area if you're going to treatment. Go somewhere. Go out to the freaking cornfields, man. You need to get away from that DOPE, okay? So get out of the city, man. Go take a vacation. Just relax a little bit, all right? We don't need to be living that city life while we're trying to recover, okay? But I've seen a lot of, like I said, I've seen a lot of bad places. I've seen a lot of good places. Typically for me, the good places have been out in the country. They're clean facilities. They feed you adequately enough. They have a gym where you can work out, like even just some dumbbells, a bench press, like a little sit-up rack. That's all you need, you know, like, and that literally makes the world of difference, because like when you're getting clean, I truly believe like you need some kind of physical outlet, man. Like, and working out releases endorphins, it gets your confidence up, and it's something that really helps, in my opinion, you know. So that's going to be the differences, you guys, are the groups, the food that they give you, and you know, most places allow you to get snacks and stuff like that, but like a lot of times I'd gone into treatment with $0, and my family wasn't trying to like help, you know, day 1 or day 7 even. You know, typically like I'd start getting into contact with my family around like the 2nd, 3rd week, and then, you know, maybe they'd send me some money, but usually I was pretty spent up on money the first couple weeks. And it really sucks for someone who doesn't have money when, like, I literally went to a treatment one time, you guys. They had no cook, and they literally cooked us frozen Jack's Pizza for dinner. We got 2 slices of Jack's Pizza and like this little dimpy ass salad. And I was just like, are you kidding me? And there was nothing to do. The building was cramped. That's another thing. Like, I don't like cramped areas. Like, I like big spaces. It was a cramped building, no workout room, just no freedom. It was just, I don't know. It left a bad taste in my mouth. But like I said, you got to make the best of your decisions. And so then after IOP, when you're done with IOP, you're basically either going to stay in a sober house or you're going to get your own place. That's when you're completely on your own. And that is the real test in your recovery, because that's when a little less accountability, like, and for me, like, I don't know, like, I think you really have to like know in your head for sure that you're not going to use, because so many times, you guys, I have left IOP, and then once that accountability of the UAs and everything is gone, it's like, and I wasn't even thinking about using the day before. It's literally like a flip switch to my head, and then I was just back to the races. So I want to warn you guys, be very careful of that. And this is just my experience in treatment, you guys. So I'm Luke from lukegtv, and I'm out. Peace. Don't forget, guys, we also got a $4.99 membership program. Link will be in the description. It helps the creative process. And it just, you know, it really helps me support my channel and save up money for new equipment. We got a new laptop coming in the works, should be soon. So I thank you guys for all your support.